Hello YouTube and welcome back to Psychology Everyday, day 45. Today I have a real banger for you, and I know a lot of you have the attention span of a goldfish, but I really encourage you to stay and watch these 15 minutes or whatever, because these are just some of the books that I've read. That is Jungs books. I've actually given away the other ones, or loan them to someone, but I'm going to use everything that I have learned. I've studied these books in great detail, and I'm going to use them and teach you the most important ideas in ways that is easy to grasp. And today we're going to talk about Jung's shadow, which is just an amazing theory that is often misunderstood. But first, we have to go through his typology, as it's called. Now, I've made this visual representation. I don't know if you can see, but it's, all of his type of personalities or whatever. But he basically he didn't use these concepts the way that personality psychology do today, because when we talk about personality psychology today, we talk about these things, introversion and extroversion, basically like traits that you are, sort of, if you're tall or short, heavy or, light. But in his original typology, they were binary functions, which means, a binary function is when you open a door, do you use your left or right hand? Now, you may, of course, alternate, but you cannot, or you can do both, I guess, but you can't use your middle hand or, something like that. The same thing is when you walk in stairs, the first step, do you take it with your left or your right foot? And basically, his binary typology worked the same way. So, when you make decisions, do you make it of your internal intuition, or do you make it based off your senses, what you see, hear, and feel? And also, do you go by feeling or by thinking? When you choose a partner, is it more important how they make you feel, or if they are a logical and rational fit? So his typology is not sort of on a scale or whatever. It's either or. Either you do this or either you do that. Now, the shadow is basically a result of only doing one of the things all the time. So it's natural to alternate between these two things. Same is true with introversion and extraversion. Basically, in modern personality psychology, we talk about this on a scale, but as I said, he saw it as a binary thing, and what that is your first reaction to external stimuli. So if you're an introvert, the first thing that your reaction to other people and other things is the feeling of no, you don't want it. That is why introverts, when they are at the birthday party or whatever, they have to get over this feeling of no a lot of times, which is basically why they can hang out with one person very comfortably, but with 10 people it's 10x the obstacle to get over. So even though the obstacle is quite small, because the introvert has trained themselves to get over this, if it's a lot of people they will get exhausted, and the extrovert is instead like yes, yes, yes. So the more people the better. Now, I've made this visual representation, and I'm hoping that we get some sun, because this is what Jung's shadow is. So you have this let's see. Basically, sorry, that's upside down. Extrovert, you cannot be an extrovert and an introvert at the same time. So if the extrovert is in the light, which is, the light is the outside world, basically, what you present to the world. So this is a person, this is you, right? So you're presenting your extroverted self to the world, and the introvert you is in the shadow. Now you combine this with different, I made this, it's not perfect, but it will have to do. Let's see, sorry, I will show you. So you have extrovert and the other side is introvert, and here you have the other functions. Thinking, do you think more or do you feel more? Do you go by external sensation or do you go by your intuition? And then if you combine these in different ways, you get the primary types. And the primary types is basically a combination of two of these things. So you might be, let's see, a thinking introvert. However, you can also be, three things: intuition, thinking, introvert. However, it's quite complicated because basically you have one main function and then you have one or two assisting functions. So let's see again. So in the sunlight, let's see, what does it say? It's mirror reflected. So introvert, and thinking, which means that if you look on the backside, your extroverted and feeling self is in the shadow. This is the shadow you. It doesn't have anything to do with the dark monster or whatever inside you, except for in rare cases when you have a super ego or a mask on that is too much of a nice person. Which, if you get bullied and you just keep being nice and apologize or whatever, then your shadow is a school shooter. Do you understand? So the shadow is not in itself a monster or whatever. Jung explained it exactly like this but instead of the sun, he used an example with the flashlight. So the flashlight is the world, and the side that is in the light is the side that you show to the world. And if you only do this forever and ever and ever, and your other side is in the shadow, it will, according to Jung, your subconscious will rebel. I like to explain it as what is in the shadow for way too long will begin to mold. Mold will form here and it will create a life crisis. This is also something that Jung explained, that if a problem with the shadow comes, it will become greater and greater and greater the more the time passes on, or the more extreme this is. Of course, a school shooter is a very good example, but also midlife crisis. So that is all for today. Actually, it didn't take 15 minutes, and I'm glad that you got to see this video. Have a great day, everyone, and tomorrow, of course, is Sports Psychology Sunday. Make sure to subscribe. It took me like 2 hours to make this, and perhaps comment as well. What is your primary type? Goodbye, everyone.